Greetings and salutations. Welcome to this midday power surge, Friday, January 13th, 14th, 2022. This is your spiritual oasis on this pilgrim journey. Safe to Serve International, first-time viewers, welcome one, welcome all to this midday power surge. Remember, the seventh day is still the Sabbath, and Jesus is coming soon. Before I get into the content that must be addressed today, I have two quick announcements that are imperative as it relates to the work of aggressive, effective evangelism. Remember that this 60-second ad is running presently in the Marietta and Atlanta, Georgia areas and the surrounding cities as well. Keep us in your prayers, and by God's grace, we thank you for your presence and for your support.
Hey, what are you doing Sunday, January 23rd?
I'm going to the Health and Wellness Seminar hosted by Save to Serve.
Me too. Save to Serve is putting on a health and wellness program for the community from 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. The emphasis will be on respiratory health and building one's immune system.
Yes, that's really important, especially now as we are facing this pandemic with so many variants.
What I'm most excited about is the water therapy demonstration, a natural remedy drink demonstration, and the best part, a plant-based cooking demo with taste sampling.
Did you hear that there will also be free groceries and free cleaning supplies following the event?
Yes, I did hear that. The address is 1415 Franklin Gateway Southeast in Marietta, Georgia. If that's too much to remember, it is the former Social Security Administration building in Marietta. The event is free.
I'll be there at 3 p.m. sharp, Sunday, January 23rd. We hope to see you there.
All right, brothers and sisters, and that is scheduled for January 23rd. And I also want to share with you the second announcement, and that is the upcoming MLK Day Parade here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. As a ministry, we just launched Safe to Serve Center for Evangelism, and this coming Monday, we will be evangelizing the attendees at this parade. And right now, friends, in my hand, I have a copy of the actual leaflet that we will be distributing to all the attendees. So by God's grace, join us as the Lord does impress your heart. Please come to the building at 1415 Franklin Gateway Southeast, Marietta, Georgia, at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And this is an actual booklet that we will be sharing with all who are in attendance. A Bible study will be given in the booklet. And friends, as you can see, it's time for aggressive, effective evangelism, brothers and sisters. All right, let's get right into this. Beloved, as we can see clearly, that there is something trending right now on the media, and that is the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling on the Biden administration's government OSHA mandate to inoculate the civilians, population, the residents, citizens here in America. Now, friends, I'm going to address that. There are several implications for God's people in the last days. But before I get into that, I also want you to understand what is going to be on the back end of this presentation. I want you to understand this at the very genesis. Number one, brothers and sisters, the apostate SDA leaders, not all, but I'm talking about the apostate ones in administrative offices, conferences, in the schools, universities. They are going to use a particular statement from the writings of Ellen White to deceive the members of the SDA church to worship on Sunday and to receive the mark of the beast. Just as they actually use one statement from all the writings of the spirit of prophecy to deceive the members, to take Babylon's magic bullet, Babylon's panacea, the pestilence 19 elixir. Stay tuned for that. It's a very salient point I'm going to make later on. But my friends, let's get right into this. There it is on the screen. Trending, my friends, since yesterday. SCOTUS blocks Biden's vaccine mandate for large employers. And friends, as we move on, it is clear the Supreme Court blocks nationwide inoculation and testing mandate for large businesses. It allows, though, healthcare worker inoculation mandate to take effect. Notice what it goes on to say, friends. And please, 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 I want you to pay attention as you have never done before. Very, very important materials we're going to cover with some startling applications. Now notice, this is also very similar to what is going on in Canada, in Quebec. You remember that health contribution tax? Look at this, brothers and sisters. In a 6-3 decision, the court blocked Biden's OSHA inoculation mandate, which would have required employers with 100 or more employees to either mandate the inoculation or implement rigorous testing requirements. Notably, under OSHA's rule, the burden of the cost of testing would remain on the employee, watch this, effectively amounting to a work tax, just as what we saw, brothers and sisters. I won't play this video. I covered that on yesterday. Just as what we saw in Quebec with the health tax. Now, I want to return to something very, very important, that this OSHA mandate from the president's administration would negatively impact employers who had over 99 employees. Now, watch this carefully, brothers and sisters. Very, very important as we look at this. There it is, blue words underlined. And the great question is, how will the Seventh-day Adventist leaders respond? The leaders of the institutions, the schools, the hospitals, the conferences of SDA in Jamaica, who are following the North American division, also in the other Caribbean islands, in Europe, in Asia, in Australia. Later on, I'm going to address Australia. You get the point. Take a look at this, brothers and sisters. Do you remember when this was posted? The FYI from the president of the Kentucky-Tennessee Conference, stating that the mandate would affect nearly all SDA conferences in the United States because it meets the threshold of the Biden's inoculation mandate. How are the conference leaders going to now respond? The NAD leader right there, second from the left, the General Conference president, next, and Ganun Diop, the PARL director, far right. How would they now respond? Well, my friends, I'm going to share with you from 3 conferences. I'm talking about Idaho, I'm talking about Indiana, and I'm also going to address Ohio. Take a look at what they put in print a few days ago. Look at this, brothers and sisters. It says, "Dear Indiana Conference employee." Now, you can pause and read the rest of this, but just notice the first line. As you may have heard, the federal courts have allowed OSHA to implement the Pestilence 19 inoculation and testing emergency temper standard, the ETS. Skip on down to the words underlined red. The Supreme Court will be hearing appeals to that decision, but it is not likely to be reversed or changed before the ETS enforced. Did you catch that, brothers and sisters? You know what? I should have stated what you were to look for, because now I have to repeat myself. Notice, this is the actual leader of the Indiana Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. He's now preparing the employees and members of that conference to go along with the Biden's inoculation mandate, and he put in print to all conference employee, it is not likely for this U.S. Supreme Court to reverse it. What pessimism? Where's the faith in Christ? Where's the faith in God? Want to be optimistic, want to be filled with faith, my friends. I'm wondering, what would Daniel have thought? Ananiah, Mishael, Azariah, Elijah, Moses, you name the prophets and patriarchs of old. Abraham, the father of the faithful. There it is again, my friends. The U.S. Supreme Court will be hearing appeals to that decision, but it is not likely to be reversed. Think about that, my friends. Move on. Here comes the Ohio Conference. Now notice the red arrow right there. It says, I want everyone to watch what was put in print there in Ohio, actually stating that we're complying with the order from the government, even though the order is unconstitutional. Why would you tell your members to prepare to accept a government policy that is unconstitutional and unbiblical? Are you a biblical Christian professed leader? Let's read that. By the way, the real issue, if we were to simmer this thing down, it's fear. Fear. Yes, friends. And remember, fear leads to torment. 1 John chapter 4. Fear leads to torment. And the second one is the love of money. Yes, the love of money, which is the root of all evil. 1 Timothy chapter 6. Notice what it goes on to say. Red arrow. Please know that the administration seeks to comply with this order out of compulsion. However, the penalties levied by the federal government against organizations that are not in compliance can be as high as $136,000, $136,532. Brothers and sisters, so what are they sharing here? Fear. What are they representing and showing? The love of money out of compulsion. The question is the law constitutional? Is the law biblical? Now watch. This is the Idaho Conference, brothers and sisters. Now watch what this states. All right. Again, notice. This is from Idaho. It says, watch carefully. This is the first paragraph. You can pause it and read that. Let's move on. Red arrow. If this ETS were a directive about how and when to conduct our religious affairs, we would object. We would object? In other words, it has nothing to do with our religious affairs. Health and religion are not connected. That's what they put in print. That's the implication. Let's move on. Second arrow, red arrow. If this ETS conflicted with God's 10 commandments, we would object. Brothers and sisters, we would what? We would object, they said. Now notice, as we skip on down, I want to ask you a question. Is the principle of health in the 10 commandments? By principle, it's there. Like Psalm 119, verse 96 and verse 97, God's commandments are exceeding broad. The principles are broad. Can be magnified. The principle is there. First commandment, right? Second commandment, right? Not to mention commandment number 6. All right, notice. Third arrow. We would be going against the law of the land without a clear biblical reason for doing so. That's why we have to follow the order. Think about that. Without a clear biblical reason. Number one, it is unconstitutional. I want to ask you a question. do the SDA leadership, General Conference, North American Division, do they have some of the most so-called intelligent lawyers, attorneys that comprise their council? What was the response from those lawyers and attorneys? That they spend hundreds, thousands of dollars to keep on the payroll. Could they not tell the GC leaders, North American Division leaders, that this order is not constitutional? Therefore, don't even think of preparing your members to go along with it. Or were the lawyers simply collecting the paycheck, getting fat? Brothers and sisters, let me move on. So much to say. Notice what this goes on to say. Fourth arrow. Fines could be as much as $136,532 per violation. You see, fear of money, losing money. Last arrow, if the organization is bankrupted, we take the risk that our God-given mission will be derailed. In other words, we can go ahead and compromise and still carry out God's mission. Do you see the convoluted argument here, friends? How could you be rejecting God's principles, violating liberty of conscience, bowing the knee in compromise, bowing to Caesar without biblical reason, and then turn around and say, let's get on with the mission? It sounds like something that Mark Finley once said on the issue of women's ordination. Just take the vote. If we vote for to uphold women's ordination, go along with it. If it's not, if the vote goes against women's ordination, go along with it. Just let's get on with the mission. It doesn't matter what the vote is. Even if the vote is against biblical principle, just get on with the mission. Same principle here. Friends, let's move on. Listen to what the Idaho Conference went on to say. Render unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's. That's the argument they're using to go along with the government order, mandate. The question really is, was the order from the government constitutional or not? When Jesus said, render unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, was Christ saying to give unto Caesar that which is unbiblical? Come on, brothers and sisters. Are these men buffoons? Look at what this goes on to say. Watch. Look at the words underlined red. Please be assured that if a religious issue comes up that conflicts with biblical teaching, we will support Bible truth. As Jesus said, quote, render unto Caesar, render therefore unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. So much more could be said right here, friends. So much more. I'm going to yield it right there. So notice now, what will the conference leaders respond and say? I'm wondering, will the General Conference leader say something now? Since the ruling of SCOTUS? Will the North American Division president say something now? Will the PARL, Public Affairs and Religious Liberty Director, now say something? Will the biblical, by the way, the reason why I'm saying this, because these are the entities in the red box. Let me pause it. You could read who they were. And what did they put in print? Red words. Submit to government mandates. Blue words and red words. That's it right there. Submit. Move on. It's not a matter of salvation. Submit. And look who they're quoting from. Black words, underline, black. Look at that. Ellen White. I'll come to that later on. There it is, my friend. It's not a matter of religious liberty. That's it. Go along with the government mandates. That's what they put in print, brothers and sisters. It's not an issue of salvation. There it is. It's not an issue of salvation. But brothers and sisters, what said the world? Look how the world now have become wiser in their generation than the children of light. Look at this, brothers and sisters. It says, watch carefully, headline, conservatives rejoice after Supreme Court strikes down OSHA's inoculation mandate, a win for the Constitution. Let's look at the blue words. It took the Supreme Court to set the record straight for the Biden administration. Again, blue words, it's also a win for personal liberties and our economy. Personal what? Liberties and our economy. Hold on. But what did the GC leader say? It is not a matter of salvation. There it is. Submit yourself to government mandates in the issue of health. There it is. By the way, the issue of health and safety. Look at the blue words there. Blue words. We support government mandates in support of health and safety issues. Pause right there. I'm wondering if they understood what they were saying. What does OSHA represent? OSHA points to health and safety issues in the workplace, etc. And the Supreme Court voted that they don't have that authority nor power. And the mandate is against the U.S. Constitution. Where are the lawyers of the SDA conference globally, even in North America? Where are they? Is the North American division still situated, located in Washington, D.C.? Is the General Conference headquarters still in that vicinity, Washington, D.C.? Where are the councils? Where are they? Where are they? Let's come back here, friends. Notice what it goes on to say. Watch carefully. So much to say here. So much to say. Look at the headline, which I took off the press this morning. Huge win for freedom. But the church says it's not an issue of liberty of conscience. Next, it's a win for freedom. There it is. This is a big win for freedom. It's a massive win for freedom. That's it, brothers and sisters. Now, at this juncture, I have to show you the other side of the proverbial coin. Not all are apostates. The majority are in the SDA leadership. But I must commend the Arkansas, Louisiana Conference president and his council for publicly protesting not only against Caesar, not only against Babylon, not only against apostate Protestant America, but also against the leaders of the General Conference, North American Division, Loma Linda, the Biblical Research Institute, and others. And also, secondly, I'll come to the second one, which is a Southwestern Union of Seventh-day Adventists. Listen, a quick reminder.
Greetings to all of our folk in Arkansas, Louisiana. We'd like to be able to come to you from time to time and share with you things that are newsworthy, noteworthy in our conference.
Clip 2.
And I want you to know that we believe that this is an overreach that is going on and it affects our church. And I believe that we want you to understand that we are prepared and are already working toward everything that we can do as a church to resist what is going on.
Clip 3.
We believe that there is a separation of church and state that must take place, must be preserved. And we feel like this is an issue that we need to take a stand on.
All right, clip 4.
Take place. I will just say this, we do not believe that the conference should be the enforcer of government policy.
Oh, my friend, what a protest! On this issue, they are standing for biblical principles. I don't know anything else, but I'm simply addressing this issue, and he and others should be commended, and the apostates must be condemned. Do you know what they were supporting? Church and state union. You wait until I come to that statement they will use to deceive Seventh-day Adventist members to worship on Sunday and receive the mark of the beast. Southwestern. Here it is, friends. Southwestern Union of Seventh-day Adventists. I covered this before, so let me quickly go through this. There it is, my friends. The public protest. Again, you can pause and take a look at these statements. It violates freedom of conscience and personal choice. There it is. A separation of church and state. What are the SDA leaders doing? Wake up. It's a protest, brothers and sisters. Now watch this. On the back end of the ruling, 6-3, there was an addendum that was taken up. And the ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court, 5-4, was simply this, that the hospitals that receive Medicare funding and Medicaid funding can mandate its employees to receive Babylon's magic bullet. When I read this, then we're going to speak about the Seventh-day Adventist run hospitals. Watch this, my friends. There it is. However, the court upheld the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. From this point onward, CMS. This inoculation mandate 5-4, although it explicitly acknowledged that the CMS mandate exempts, underscore that, exempts employees who object to the inoculation for religious or medical reasons. Don't you forget that, friends. Now, who is speaking here? This is Ambassador Ken Blackwell. Who is he, Pastor? I'll tell you. Senior Fellow at the Family Research Council. Why could that not say Seventh-day Adventist General Council? Why not? No, somewhere from the world. Watch this, friends. He criticized the CMS decision, but added, most people who object to the inoculation do so for religious or medical reasons. So, the Supreme Court's affirming that those people are exempt from the CMS mandate is a what, friends? A silver lining here. Powerful, my friends. A silver lining here. So my question is, what will Adventist healthcare in Washington, D.C. area, Maryland area now do? How are they going to respond? Number one, to this ruling. Number two, to all of their employees that offered and submitted a religious exemption for the inoculation and were rejected. How would the Seventh-day Adventist run hospital respond? There it is on the screen, friends. I've covered this before. There it is. Adventist healthcare. By the way, they base their health policy on the General Conference health policy. It's right there in print. First paragraph, blue words, we received your submission for a religious exemption. Red words below, upon review, the documentation that you provided does not meet the requirements listed, and they listed their working policy. Red words at the bottom, that inoculations is prohibited according to the published tenets of the highest official governing body of the denomination or faith. And then they actually said, if you don't go along with this, you will lose your employment. And some people lost their employment. Brothers and sisters, how will they now respond? How are they going to pray? What will they say to God now? What will they say? That's the question. And I can guarantee you it's a possibility. Many of them will come publicly and say some flowery words to soothe over, a nice veneer to act as if they were not supporting this diabolical policy from the devil himself. And how many people lost employment? How many were out of a job? How many didn't have money to buy food, take care of their family as a result of this ruling from Seventh-day Adventists? And then we want to turn around and tell the world to come and join the Seventh-day Adventist faith? You're playing games with Jesus Christ. Never mind. The Lord has something for you, apostates. Look at this, my friends. There it is. There it is. This is in print from the SDA leadership. We will not and we cannot grant religious exemption. We have covered this before. This is from the PARL, Public Affairs and Religious Liberty. We can't support you in that. There it is, friends. What will Advent Health do? You know Advent Health now? Even the one there in Florida? What would they now do? Remember, Advent Health put out a statement just a few weeks ago stating that they are going to suspend, red words, all inoculation requirements. Red words again, right? And will not take any corrective action for non-compliant team members. Do you know why? Because they're waiting on the ruling from the government. That's it. But notice, in the same letter that was sent out, circular, red words at the bottom, Advent Health's position continues to be that the pestilence 19 inoculation is the most effective tool to keep people safe. How many of you know individuals that work for Advent Health? That was a time of respite when that came out. But remember now, the U.S. Supreme Court just ruled any institution that receive government funding that is connected to CMS, Medicare funding, receive Medicaid funding, they can now force their employees to receive the pestilence 19 inoculation and booster shots. So what will Advent Health now do? By the way, I'll give it to you from their own words. Listen.
Advent Health sent this notice to employees, spelling out key deadlines to be fully vaccinated. The letter saying, in quote, "As we make plans to comply with the federal mandate like all other healthcare companies that participate in the Medicare and Medicaid programs, we are required to follow the vaccine rule."
Stop right there. Do you see it, my friends? And what did SCOTUS just rule? You get the point. Next clip, listen.
Federal law requires them to vaccinate.
One more time, listen.
Federal law requires them to vaccinate their frontline healthcare workers or face funding cuts or loss of funding from Medicare and Medicaid.
That's it, brothers and sisters. So how will Advent Health respond? Do you think it's time for Seventh-day Adventists run hospitals and affiliated, keyword, operative word, hospitals to divorce themselves from Babylon's money? Do you think it's time? Do you think it's time for even the employees at these locations to start praying, fasting? Lord, sever me from this connection and place me where I can truly do your work. Use my gifts and talents as you have ordained for soul winning, even true medical missionary work. Do you think it's time, brothers and sisters? Listen.
Advent Health providing this statement to News 6, saying in part, "Our intent is to comply with the federal mandate, and we are closely monitoring legal challenges that may impact our compliance."
Well, the legal challenge is almost over. Now we're seeing the ruling. They can now force employees to receive the pestilence 19 cure all. Now, we just covered the conferences, right? We just touched on the hospitals. How would they respond to the ruling? What about the Seventh-day Adventist schools? Remember, if you receive government funding in the area of Medicare funding, Medicaid funding, now they can force you to take Babylon's brick. Look at this headline. What about the Seventh-day Adventist schools? Watch this. Look at the headline there, friends. Oakwood University hoping to be future inoculation site applying for state grant. I wonder if the state now says you have to go along with the government and now force your employees, meaning secretaries, administrators, yes, professors in those schools. What would they do? All the way down to the janitor, maintenance workers. What would they now do? The love of money, the root of all evil. Selling out Christ for 30 pieces of silver. They are betrayers. All right. What will Andrews University do? What will be now their response? Promoting Babylon's poison. There it is, friends. And La Sierra, what will they now do and say? Have you ever seen a dog that was whipped, embarrassed, and put to shame? Put that leg and put that tail behind and between its hind leg. This is the illustration of the SDA leadership now. Embarrassed, ashamed, putting their tail, as it were, between their hind legs. That's it, friends. Embarrassed. And they should be. They should have known better. It's time for the protest, brothers and sisters. It's time. It's time for the protest. It's time. All right. Notice, my friends, as we move on. There it is. Southern Adventist University. How would they then respond? Giving out, actually having a raffle at the school. A raffle. If you go ahead and take the Pestilence 19 prick, you can win a prize. That is what the president of Southern Adventist University was promoting publicly. Raffle. Think about lottery. Think about that. Spiritual nincompoops, my friends. Look at this. There it is. Loma Linda. How are they going to now respond? Leave no stone unturned today, my friends. None. How will the GC president respond? Now, hold on right there. Hold on. I'm in no rush today. No rush. I want to make sure you understand what's happening. In my opening remarks, one of my statements was that the SDA apostate leaders are going to use a particular statement, maybe a few others, but a particular statement to deceive the members of the SDA church to worship on Sunday and receive the mark of the beast when Sunday is enforced as a law of the land. The reason why I say that is because they have already begun to use one statement from the library of the spirit of prophecy to deceive the members to take Babylon's magic bullet. Ready for this now? Watch. This is Elder Ted Wilson, GC president. Friends, red box. Many have wondered about the church's stance on the new Pestilence 19 inoculation. Here is a very important article addressing concerns and offering counsel from the General Conference Health Ministries Department, the Biblical Research Institute, Loma Linda School of Pharmacy, and School of Public Health. And look at where it was taken from. Adventist News. Well, let's go there. Watch carefully. There it is, my friends. There it is. And who are they quoting from? Ellen White. That she modeled practical prevention in the face of lethal disease in her era. All right? How she took the immunization herself, and as did those close to her. Next, then they put, quoting now a statement from D.E. Robinson. You'll be interested to know, however, at that particular time, when there was an epidemic of smallpox in the vicinity, Ellen White herself was inoculated and urged her helpers, those connected with her to be inoculated. She also recognized the danger of their exposing others if they failed to take this precaution. Who are they quoting from? D.E. Robinson. Think about that, my friends. Think about that. In the face of, where is the second witness? That is not even coming from Ellen White herself. Where is the second witness? Whenever someone quotes something and don't give you 2 or 3 witnesses, they are attempting to deceive you. Where is the protest? Now, we have covered that before, so there's much more that could be said on that one segment. But I will not divulge that information right now. The videos are here. Notice now, my friends, the statement that the apostates are going to use to deceive SDA members to receive the mark of the beast and worship on Sunday. Watch this. There it is, my friends. Dear brother, volume 9, page 232. Dear brother, I will try to answer your question as to what you should do in the case of Sunday laws being enforced. Seventh-day Adventists were to show their wisdom by refraining from their ordinary work on that day, Sunday, devoting Sunday to missionary effort. Watch. To defy the Sunday laws will but strengthen in their persecution the religious zealots who are seeking to enforce them. Give them no occasion to call you lawbreakers. Watch this now. One does not receive the mark of the beast because he shows that he realizes the wisdom of keeping the peace by refraining from work that gives offense, doing at the same time a work of the highest importance. They will quote volume 9, 232. And they will say, Ellen White says, one does not receive the mark of the beast if they have Sunday worship services. When the Sunday law is enforced, they will quote that. Look at the next few lines. Watch carefully now. There it is. When we devote, by the way, look at the red words underlined just to make the point. And then I'll go to the top. Red words underlined. Sister White writes, whenever it is possible, let religious services be held on Sunday. That's it, my friends. They will combine these two statements. Red words underlined. One does not receive the mark of the beast, ellipsis. Whenever it is possible, let religious services be held on Sunday when Sunday laws are enforced. Do you see it, my friends? This is going to be the hook they hang their doubts upon and deceive the members to worship on Sunday. Now, my time is almost finished. It's over. Allow me just to read this, make a few statements of application, then later on, I will resume by God's grace and further expound on this. Why? This needs its own space to stand out in bold relief. All right? Watch this now as I continue. When we devote Sunday to missionary work, the whip will be taken out of the hands of the arbitrary zealots who would be well pleased to humiliate Seventh-day Adventists. Sunday can be used for carrying forward various lines of work that will accomplish much for the Lord. On this day, what day? Sunday. Open air meetings and cottage meetings can be held. No, they won't emphasize that point. House-to-house work can be done. That's it, friends. Those who read words, whenever it is possible, let religious services be held on Sunday. Make these meetings intensely interesting. And it goes on. My friends, do you know what they won't tell you? Let me save that for when I return. And let me add this. When the Sunday law is enforced, with persecution for God's Sabbath-keeping people, two things will be mandated. Number one, no work on Sundays. And number two, you must work on Sabbath. Work on the 7th day of the week. That's it. The two comprise one great issue during the Sunday law time period. Not one. Don't work on the Sunday. No. We'll be forced to violate and desecrate the 7-day Sabbath. By the way, do you realize even now we have pastors in Huntsville, Alabama, who were promoting Sunday surge, Sunday morning worship. They have already begun to catch that spirit. Yes. And conference leaders in Alabama were also supporting the Sunday surge. A so-called woman pastor was saying that there is an earthquake going on in the SDA church, in the regional conferences and the other conferences. Why? They were saying, why is it we cannot have Sunday morning services just like the Sabbath morning and afternoon services? One male pastor in Huntsville, Alabama said, I told my members, if you cannot attend on Sabbath, now this was pre-pandemic, if you can't attend church on the Sabbath, just come on Sunday morning. They have already begun to implement worshiping on Sunday. They're already bowing the knee, brothers and sisters. Where is the protest? Like Martin Luther, the Protestant reformer. Now, again, I'm trying to constrain myself and not to say too much, because there must be a part two that this will stand by itself. Watch now as I confirm. At present, Sunday keeping is not the test. The time will come, though, when men will not only forbid Sunday work, but they will try to force men to labor on the Sabbath. That's it. And to subscribe to Sunday observance or forfeit their freedom and their lives. That's one statement. Statement number two. The time will come when men will not only forbid Sunday work, but they will try to force men to labor on the Sabbath, and men will be asked to renounce the Sabbath and to subscribe to Sunday observance or forfeit their freedom and their lives. The repetition was needed. All right. Do you remember the biblical setting in the time of the Exodus, Egypt, and the Hebrews? The Hebrews were forced by Pharaoh to desecrate the Sabbath. That's it. It's right there, friends. Upward look, page 124. Now, let me close. When a man, a white man, or black man is arrested for Sunday breaking. Hold on, for what? Sunday breaking. He is placed at a great disadvantage. He is humiliated. All right. Often, when Sabbath keepers in the southern states are arrested for working on Sunday, they are sent to the chain gang, where they are forced to work on the Sabbath. All right, friends. All right. The Lord does not command them to place themselves where they are obliged to dishonor his holy rest day. All right, brothers and sisters. Again, I can't say everything right now. But the question is, who shall be able to stand? The great deception? You think the Sunday law? You wait until the apostates tell their members to keep Sunday. As a matter of fact, we are told that will take place. Go back and read Great Controversy, page 608. 608. That's it, friends. Who shall be able to stand is ringing in my ears from Revelation 6 and verse 17. Who shall be able to stand? Like Daniel in chapter 1, like the three Hebrews in Daniel 3, in Daniel 6, who shall be able to stand, brothers and sisters? And if you're bowing the knee now, because of fear, if you're bowing the knee now because of the love of money, employment, and government funds, brothers and sisters, you will bow at that Sunday law time period. Because volume 5, page 81 says, those who have step by step yielded to worldly demands and conform to worldly customs will not find it a hard matter to yield to the powers that be, rather than subject themselves to derision, insult, threatened, imprisonment, and death. The mark of the beast will be urged upon us, and then we're told at that time, many a star that we have admired for their brilliancy will then go out in darkness. Don't guess, don't guess, don't guess. Those stars that we have admired for their brilliancy, they went out in darkness, and what revealed their darkness? The SCOTUS ruling yesterday. Do I need to repeat that? The SCOTUS ruling showed which Seventh-day Adventist was on the Lord's side and which Seventh-day Adventist was on Baal's side, Babylon's side. Where is Elijah to ask the question of 1 Kings chapter 18? Who is on the Lord's side? If God be God, serve him. But if Baal, serve him. Moses, Exodus 32, who is on the Lord's side? This health crisis showed who was standing and who was bowing to the knee. Imagine SDA leaders and people. Do you recall all those doctors on 3ABN? Yes, I said it. All those doctors on 3ABN promoting Babylon's mandate, Babylon's panacea. How do they feel now? You must take it. I support government mandates. How do they feel now? If they don't feel any remorse, if they don't make any public recantation, it's a possibility they have already grieved the Holy Spirit of God. And God would no longer use them as leaders in his work. Volume 5, page 80, that same book, page 80 into page 81, we are told that these men will no longer be used as God's leaders in the work. It says few great men God will use to lead out in the final work. So what will happen to the majority of the so-called great men? They are going to be shaken, sifted, shaken out, sifted out. This ruling has shown who was on the Lord's side and who was on the devil's side. You wait, friends. You know what? If I don't stop right here, it's going to be too extensive. Stay tuned for tomorrow. We'll say some more, my friends. All right. What song, Hillary? All right. She gave me a song. She knows how to find these songs. Friends, stand up for Jesus, ye soldiers of the cross. Amen, my friends. Send in your prayer request. And I say to all, one and all, happy Sabbath when the Lord comes. Brother, sister, let's be found faithful. Who shall stand? Who shall be able to stand? Stand up. Don't stand in your strength. Stand in the strength of Jesus Christ.
Stand up for Jesus, ye soldiers of the cross. Lift high his royal banner, it must not suffer loss. From victory unto victory, his army shall he lead, till every foe is vanquished, and Christ is Lord indeed. Stand up for Jesus, the trumpet call obey. Forth to the mighty conflict in this his glorious day. Ye that are his now serve him against unnumbered foes. Let courage rise with danger and strength to strength oppose. Stand up for Jesus, stand in his strength alone. The arm of flesh will fail you, ye dare not trust your own. Put on the gospel armor and watching unto prayer. Where duty calls or danger, be never